So, you guys, ironically, we are talking about balanced life. And having a balanced life is one of those goals that a lot of people set out to accomplish at the beginning of the year. But can we actually reach a balanced life? And what is a balanced life to begin with? Do we even know what that means? And how did this become such a goal for us? Where did balanced life come from? Have you guys tried to have a balanced life as a goal? You guys are moms, you're career women. So I figured it sounds like it's a perfect topic for you. So what is your perspective on a balanced life, or as they say now on social media, your POV? What's your POV on balanced life?
Point of view.
Let's see. Balanced life is what? Personal, work, all that good stuff, right?
You tell me.
Well, that's what I believe a balanced life is, all the stuff that's going on in your life, personal, whether you're a mom or not, and your work life, when
And
you
how do
have a
you
career
balance
stuff.
that? What does it mean to balance it?
Um, have, well, I want to say have everything ordered, but you don't want to have too much order, I should say, because you too much order, it's like everything is structured, and so if anything go out of balance, it's chaos for you. And you're like, how do I live in this chaos from a little off balance stuff? So you should make sure your body is physically, mentally healthy and ready for, I guess, this so-called balanced life. I
I
don't
mean,
know,
I
ladies, what y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started working after college, and I just felt like I was a slave. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm going back to school. Then I became a midwife, and I was working, but I still felt like I had no control over my life. If I wanted time off or vacation, I had to ask for permission, and they may or may not give it to me sitting in traffic. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, whose idea was this Monday through Friday, early work day? And why has everybody gone along with this for so long? Like, this is stupid. I'm upset about this. So I think our generation, I think at least like the older millennial generation, even maybe some of the younger Gen Xers, I think started realizing that things didn't feel right and just asking questions and pushing back as like, why do I feel like I have no control over my life? Why am I unhappy? We got sold this dream that if we did things right, went to school, like did this formula, we would be happy. And lo and behold, even if you took all the steps to that formula or didn't or whatever, we really weren't. And so I think it started to be like, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to want to, be with my family, work, and have all these things without feeling like I have to sacrifice everything or all of it or be unhappy.
How do you know when you've accomplished a balanced life?
I think when you have a peace of mind and you have a sense of like equilibrium where you feel comfortable, you feel peace, and you're not constantly stressed out, rushing, and feel burnt out. When you feel like you have enough energy to pour into different cups
Mm-hmm.
and still keep enough to pour into yourself.
So let me ask you, ladies, have you ever gotten to that point where
That sounds ideal. That sounds beautiful. I mean, maybe for like a few minutes.
Oh,
Like
at
that's like
times.
a destination that a lot of women want to arrive to. Not necessarily do we ever really get there. I don't think I've ever achieved that yet. But I think that when you make the effort, the conscious effort to make yourself a priority as a mother, as a professional, as a person, as a woman, I think that when you learn to have boundaries, when you learn to tell people no, and it's okay to say no, and you prioritize yourself, and you also develop discipline and you develop a routine, I think you start to really feel like you have a sense of control. Because with structure and discipline, there comes a sense, it becomes a sense of like, what to expect. And sometimes early on in career and motherhood, there's a lot of chaos because you don't know what to expect. But once you can establish, that discipline and that structure for your children, like bedtimes, i.e., for yourself, working out every day, meal prepping on the weekends, things like that, I think those habits create more of that balance that we're talking about.
do you guys know anyone who has a balanced life?
I feel
Know
there's
anybody? YouTubers that I know.
I mean, I think there's some people who have more balance than others, and I think it depends on the balance that you're looking for. I mean, is it
Yes.
balanced professionally? Is it balanced personally? And I think the target is always shifting. I mean, sometimes balance just means I'm going to acknowledge that I'm going to pour a little bit more into my professional life right now, and my family life, I'm going to handle it this way, or vice versa. I think it's always changing, and I think it kind of looks like for you whatever it is that you need it to look like. Because, like, off of what Eunice said, having routine, having structure, I've never been a routine person, and trying to be a routine person stresses me out. So there are little things that I realize are my routine, like, for example, certain behaviors that you realize are patterns of behavior. But, there are many times that you kind of try to fit and mold into certain ways, and that doesn't work for you either. So I think if you start to feel chaotic, I think Eunice also said it's a sense of control. And everybody has different levels of sense of control. I mean, some people, you don't have a lot of options for work. You don't have a lot of options for family support. So I think it just depends on what it is you're looking for.
I really wonder if a balanced life is more of a hamster in a wheel, like this sort of ideology that has started and no one ever really truly accomplishes it, but we're all kind of chasing it to some degree. I like what you ladies have said in terms of redefining it and not having it be a static definition, but something that's kind of evolving based on where you are in your life and based on what your goals are. Sometimes I wonder, are we actually just obsessed with perfectionism? Is a balance like a example of our desire to be perfect beings? And in that attempt to become a perfect being, we're trying to chase this lifestyle that we call balance. Shouldn't we just let life happen?
You're right about that. You're definitely right about that. A lot of people do chase a perfect life, whatever a perfect life means to, everybody. Perfect life means differently. So we are chasing something. Sometimes we have a goal or know what it is, and sometimes we just see stuff overall and we're just chasing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Well, I don't necessarily agree that we should let life just happen. I think there has
mm-hmm,
to be a level of planning and diligency. You have to have some kind of like goal for yourself. Like you have to know where you want to go and how are you going to achieve that. Whether it's professionally or in your relationships with your children or your partner, like you do have to have some kind of planning going on in
But
order
does
to.
is that the same as a balanced life? Because you can have a goal and then just go with the flow each day and just say, overall, my goal is to accomplish this. Overall, as a mother, overall, my goal is to accomplish that as a career woman. But I'm not chasing this ideology of being balanced.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't agree with perfection at all. I just think perfection is this notion that they've sold to us. I think that a lot of folks feel like, perfection is something that they need to obtain and that they must achieve in their lifetime. I
Mm-hmm.
personally think that perfection, is not really good for people. I think it sets people up for a lot of failure and also for a lot of like mental health distress, like creates a lot of anxiety and depression for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so in the practice of like doing my best and knowing that every time that I am working towards something, I'm being cognizant of how I'm doing it and making sure that I'm doing the best to my ability more so. Like, how people say like practice makes perfect. No, I think like practicing makes better outcomes, but not necessarily perfection, if that makes sense. Like,
I
I don't.
like that. Say that again. Say that last part again.
So I don't think that when people feel like, oh, practice makes perfect. No, I think practice makes better outcomes.
I like that.
Improvement.
So do
Right.
you think perfection, the argument is the argument is that a balanced life is an example of perfectionism.
But
It
I mean,
could be.
what does a balanced life even mean? I mean,
Right.
I think
That
what
was
people.
my initial question. We're back to it.
I mean, just because I think what people want is to feel good, and I think most people don't throughout their day. I mean, I think, but like you ladies have said, I think people also think that life is not supposed to be challenging, and that you're not supposed to feel stress, and that you're not supposed to feel fear, and like all of these things that most of us feel. I think a lot of the distress comes from thinking we're not supposed to be feeling those things. But the truth is, stress doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Chronic stress, yes, but stress is also our natural response that motivates us. Fear protects us. I mean, there's so many things that I think we have kind of like thrown out there as that they're not normal, and it's very distressing to people. So I'm not exactly sure.
So we're
I
back to
think
my theory about letting life happen.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. Let
yeah,
life happen. Let go with the
And
flow.
go with the flow. You still have your goals,
You
but
still have this, but
you're not chasing this perfectionism of being, because some people, I know individuals who their definition of a balanced life is being able to meet the needs of all the different groups of people in their life. So being able to show up and be able to meet the needs of their clients or their patients, or depending on are their, their customers, depending on their job, being able to show up and meet the needs of their spouse or their partner, being able to show up and meet the needs of their kid or children, being able to show up and meet the needs of their sorority, being able to show up and meet the needs of, their aunts, their uncles, being able to show up and meet the needs of their best friends and going out with the girlfriends and
but where did that come from? But where did that come from? Who said we had to do all of that?
this balanced life theory.
I
That
never.
sounds. That
I don't,
sounds.
I don't try to show up and be nothing for nobody. There's some days I'm like, this is what it is. I don't know. Like, this is what we gonna do. Listen, my children started school
that,
on Tuesday, and then we realized we had the wrong uniform pants. I didn't have black shoes for them, so they went with white. Like, listen, Eunice said, do things with intent. I think that's what you meant. Like, have a plan for life and do it intentionally, right? Do it on purpose. But you also, like, no, who said we had to be all of that for everybody? Where did that come from?
There are people who really do try to be. I
it's
mean,
people, yeah.
are you telling me that your partners have never said, "Hey, babe, we need more time"? You're telling me your kids are not saying, "Hey, mama, you're not paying attention. I need your attention." You're telling me your girlfriends are like, "Girl, we have not hung out in a long time."
I mean, yeah, but
So,
Those are people that's people pleaser. That's people pleasers, and
yeah,
you
but
gotta learn
I
how to
think
balance that.
but maybe you have not hung out with your girlfriend in a long time. Maybe you are stressed out because you have not had that time to sit back and have a good laugh. Maybe you're
it's
stressed
true, but
out
it's
because you
true.
have not had intimacy with your partner.
No,
Maybe you're
it's
stressed out
true.
because you have not played with the kids. You only pick them up from school, you put them to do their homework, and you start all over again.
Yes, and then you
I'm
start
just
chasing them to
saying.
go to bed. Yes, you're right. But what I'm saying is, I've never thought that I had to be all that for everybody. Like, yeah, when they say it, you're like, you're right. I'm gonna be a better friend right now. I'm gonna be, you need this from me. Okay, maybe I can give it, maybe I can't. But I don't walk around with this idea that I'm supposed to be that for everybody all the time. And maybe I missed the memo. I didn't know that's what we're supposed to do.
Or maybe you've been delivered. Okay.
What is that? Wait, you can't just
I
say
like
that,
that.
not explain that.
I like that.
What
I
does
don't
that
believe it, but I like it. I like it.
what does that mean? What does that mean? You can't just
Okay.
say that. Our
Deliver
audience is
means
gonna be like, what does she mean?
deliver means that you no longer hold yourself to that type of expectations, and you no longer feel the need to fulfill other people's voids, and those people are supposed to fill those voids for themselves, including your children to an extent. It's about creating a sense of independency and creating boundaries for yourself, because yes, as a mother, there's going to be times where you're not going to be able to give to your children everything that they want and what they need in that moment, and it's unfortunate, but it's part of life. Same thing with my partner. There's going to be times where I'm not going to be able to give my best, my all. I'm not going to be able to be present, to be intimate with him or whatnot. And there's going to be times where some of my clients are going to feel like my attention isn't 100% there. And that's okay, because I'm human and I'm I'm flawed and I'm imperfectly perfect. That's what I tell myself. Like, you're perfect, but you're imperfect, and it's okay. It's part of who you are. And I no longer strive to meet that, like what Karen said, like that codependency, like that neediness that
But
folks
what if
have.
it's internal? Because you have individuals who are like, I feel stressed out because I haven't been intimate with my partner. I feel stressed out
Oh, okay.
because I
Then
have
they need to
not
see a therapist.
been able.
I
Yeah,
think they're holding themselves to an unrealistic expectation, and they're creating that stress.
but I think that is balance. Being able to see that and say that there have been moments in my marriage where I've been like, dropping the ball, like, because but the truth is that there's
Uh-huh.
nobody in my life who meets all of my needs except for God, and even God sometimes, and I have questions. So like, I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
I think that is balance. Being able to say, you know, like today I felt guilty. I was like, I ain't played with the kids in a minute, so today we went on scooters. You know, like, yes, you can always look and evaluate and see where you can step up and perhaps where you could be better. But that is life. That is the balance of life. I don't think that that's supposed to be like, oh, I'm a failure. That sucks.
Hmm.
There you go, right there. She said that is the balance of life. Isn't that what we're looking for? The
I don't know.
balance,
You
how to
tell me.
balance.
You
We
tell
have
me,
to learn
Karen.
how to
What are
balance
you looking for?
every little thing. It depends on everything that's going on in your life. You got to learn how to balance this and this and that.
What
So
does that
hey,
mean for you, Karen? What does a balanced life look like for you?
not to be chaotic, to be peaceful, to help whom I can help if myself is together. If myself is not together, then I cannot help
And how do
no
you make
one.
sure you're together?
I take moments in my life. I learn after talking to my therapist to take moments during the day in my time and breathe and relax from people to gather up my thoughts to go back out into this world that does
Hmm.
all kind of stuff. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Eunice, what does a balanced life look like for you for 2022?
It looks like honoring my needs first. It looks like telling people no when I don't feel like doing something. It feels like I'm going to do my best, but I'm not going to have expectations of myself or others anymore, because I feel like a lot of times we have expectations of ourselves and others, and that leads to disappointment, and disappointment leads to resentment. So just really like being present and mindful. I really want to focus on being more present and just be more intentional with my time and making more proper use of my time, less time on social media, more time actually manifesting and journaling and writing my goals and meditating and taking baths and cooking and doing the things that really bring joy to my life. Being
So
out in nature.
you said something very interesting, not having expectations from others. So what does that mean? What does that look like? So
Well,
saying as a mom, for example, not having an expectation of the kid, what's that mean? What does that look like? Not having expectation of your daughter.
even to a certain extent, yes, I have expectations of a 6-year-old that I perhaps should not have. I think that a lot of parents, we have this vision of what we want our children to be and how they should behave and how they should carry themselves. And a lot of that is just like rooted and stems from like our own childhood traumas and our own inner child wounds. And a lot of times we carry that blindly into our children, you know? So just like really allowing her to just be a child and make mistakes and have the meltdowns and have the tantrums and not meet my expectations of a mother. Like that's okay. And it's hard as hell, to be honest. Like I feel that perhaps parents, should allow their children to just really be authentically themselves. And a lot of times we repress our children and we tell our children, you can't say that, you can't do that. And we try to monitor and control their behavior. But I feel like that is part of why so many of us have these people pleasing tendencies, because as children, our parents were, pretty much doing that same behavior to us, like telling us what we could say, what we couldn't say, what we couldn't do, and things like that, that just really create a lot of like, just in my opinion, just like inner turmoil and just like self like abandonment and self betrayal. A lot of people please because they want to feel the love from others that they can't feel for themselves.
Well, are you saying, just to clarify, because someone in our audience is going to go, what is she saying? Just if the kid wants to play with fire, just let him play with the
No,
fire?
no, no. I'm
Like,
just saying,
so
like, if a
where's the
six,
line?
so I'm saying, like, if a 6 or an 8-year-old, is
Uh-huh.
talking back or having a meltdown or doesn't want to, wear that shirt or doesn't want to, take a bath that night, like things like that, I'm picking and choosing my battles, because we're going back to like a balanced life. I'm not going to argue with the 6-year-old about eat your green beans. Okay, you should. I really would like that. I really would appreciate if you took a bath and we're clean. But if you're telling me no, I don't want to now, and that's going to turn into a big old fuss, then I'm going to say, all right, that's fine. Use a wipe. Let's wipe you down. Let's get a rag. We're going to figure it out. Like, I just don't want to carry on that unnecessary expectations that I put on myself from others and people put on for me. And it's just,
Mhm.
to me, it just feels like it's time to just kind of like just do things that make you feel happy and make you feel comfortable at the end of the day. Like, life is too short. And I don't think that people realize how time is so fleeting. And at least for me, this pandemic has taught me that we're in this pandemic for almost 2 years now, and it feels like it just began yesterday. Like, that's one thing I realized being on this lockdown and, with all this COVID stuff. It's like time is fleeting and you don't get it back. So the time that I have here, I want to make the best that I can. And like to Olivia's point, yes, people need to understand you're going to have moments of distress. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel anxious. That's all part of life. Like, people feel like they should feel happy all the time and be like in this like nirvana state, and that's very unhealthy and toxic. Like, that toxic positivity, I don't buy into that. Like, there's going to be moments of turmoil in our lives, and we're living through that, and we have to learn how to pick ourselves up when we're going through those low points in our lives.
I mean, not only that, if you're in Nirvana all the time, then it's not Nirvana, right? Then it becomes your new status quo. Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if you want to learn more about this, make sure you watch our other video where we talk about emotions and how we accept and don't accept different types of emotions. Y'all gonna want to watch that. But to your point, for me, I think I'm a hybrid of what a lot of you guys have said so far. For me, a balanced life. I don't consider myself wanting to have a balanced life. I feel like that's a title that I have received by people who have the expectation of my life being balanced because their perception is it's not balanced. For example, people are often telling me, you work so much, you work all the time. And I do work a lot, but I also get enjoyment out of what I do. There are moments where I am tired. And yes, you will see me on the couch with some popcorn in my hand and watching some, brainless TV, or in the club, virtual club, listening to music, because that's what I want to do in that moment. So I've learned to allow myself those moments where Eunice said a temper tantrum for a 6-year-old. How about a temper tantrum for a 40-plus-year-old? Okay. Because I have those moments. And sometimes I just want to sit on the couch and I will not answer my phone. I'm okay. I will text you if I'm not okay.
Oh, can we make that normalized? Not answering our phone. Like, I'm so serious. Like, we try to normalize. No, can we normalize? It's okay not to answer our phone. I don't care. It's our
Yeah. And
parents,
I try
whoever
my
it
best.
is. Yes.
Yeah, and I try my because I do know I'm a single Black woman, and people don't really look for us. So I do understand a lot of people reach out because they're also single Black women, and they know people don't look for us. So I get it, and I try to make sure that people know that I'm okay. But to your point, Karen, I have learned to not necessarily feel like I need to immediately, if it's not urgent, answer the phone. And I'm a type A, so I like to get tasks done. I like to check things off and keep going. I don't even know if that's type A, but that's what I was told. So I like to check things off. So I've learned to just not check things off as quickly. How about that? For me, I don't even know what a balanced life look like. I feel like my life has evolved depending on what my goals are in that particular moment. And that's what I mean when I say just let life happen. So I have overall goals, but from day to day, I'm just trying to survive. This pandemic has taught me focus on surviving every single day and celebrate at the end of the day as much as you can, or pout if you want to. Throw a temper tantrum if you want to, because that person rolled up and was sniffling and didn't answer the survey questions accurately. But that's a whole other story. I digress. But thank you, ladies, for sitting on, because they do that. They lie on these questions.
yes, they
And they
do.
come up and they're sniffling and they're pausing, but it's a whole other conversation.
I'm telling you, I've been wearing gloves, and my clients been asking for me not to wear gloves. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
this
wearing
whole
gloves.
pandemic,
Yeah.
man, has shown you a side of humanity that is just very interesting. But thank you, ladies, for sitting on our couch. It is the beginning of 2022. We are excited about this year. We have some great topics coming this year. We just wanted to start off a little gentle, but we gonna hit it. So, so make sure you follow us. Make sure you comment. We love that you are liking. We love that you're commenting. We want you to like also and share. So ladies, where can they find you so that they can find out more about your balanced life? Come on, midwife. Where can they find out about your balanced life?
You can find me on Instagram at This American Midwife.
Awesome. And come on, Eunice. How can they look you up and find out what a balanced life look like?
Or lack thereof, okay? They can find me at Instagram as well at Eunice the Therapist.
Awesome. And the woman wearing the gloves, because people have been lying to us. Where can they find you to find out how to balance and get your massage in?
And What a Touch on Instagram.
Awesome, awesome. And I am Dr. T. I am the hand behind the handle of Healthy Bump Club. You can find us, as the ladies have mentioned, we are on Instagram. You can find us at healthybump.club. Okay. So you can find us there on Instagram, and feel free to absolutely look at the rest of our videos here on YouTube. If you are new to us, we welcome you to our community, to our HBC fam. We thank you for joining us because we do have some new members since the start of the year. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you check out all our other videos. You will see 2 links at the bottom. I've been talking about to the top. I was wrong at the top of the beginning of this video. At the bottom of the end of this video. Yeah, I need to follow my own editing. Make sure you check out the rest of our videos. We love you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.